Alright guys, well there's not really a whole lot going on this week in movies. I had to go back to see what movies have come out. Something like Wind River, Ingrid Goes West, not really my thing, but one thing that certainly is Starship Troopers 5 has just released. Would you like to know more?
No.
I'm fucking done with it.
Done. It's dead.
No more.
We saw it, and it's pretty fucking bad. Start the review.
Mars. To be or not to be? That's the big question, and everybody has an opinion.
Mars is a bug planet, no question. One Q-bomb will fix that. Problem solved.
Low-gravity birth makes babies stupid, but instead, we call them Martians.
That's a fascinating perspective, thank you.
Any planet that symbolizes anger, war, and rampant male sexuality deserves to be blown up.
A lot of ideas in there. You've really done your homework.
Mars is a small, mediocre
No one doubts her
planet.
genius, but can she lead? Would you like to? We'll leave it to Mars Co.
What did Snap know and when did she know it? What the fuck did Snap know and when did she know it?
Alright guys, I hate to say it. Stop killing one of the things that I love! Okay? This is Starship Troopers Traitor of Mars, which counts as the 5th Starship Troopers film. In case you didn't know, there are 5 Starship Trooper films. Some of you are probably like, wait, what?
Exactly, I didn't even know.
Yeah, well, Joe, this, oh my God, I don't even want to say
At
this.
least Casper Van Dien's in this one, right?
Yes, Casper Van Dien reprises his role as Rico, but he has done that before in the 3rd Starship Troopers, which was god-awful. Okay, so we go Starship Troopers 1, which is a fucking instant classic. It is a 9 to 10 out of 10 for me. And then you go Starship Troopers 2, which has quite literally the worst muzzle flashes in cinematic history of all time.
Fucking strobe
A
lights.
There's
little-
no flashlights. Every time they pull the trigger, the flashlight turns on and off.
Careful, you might blind some of the bugs with those things. And quite possibly, one of the worst films I've ever seen. It is so boring, so difficult, has nothing to do with Starship Troopers. It is basically a dark house film. Like they try to make it into a horror. The only thing it introduces is a new type of bug that they spit into your mouth and you take over your body. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Then we move on to Starship Troopers 3.
The musical.
The musical, which this song number out of nowhere is so embarrassing to watch. It's so cringy. The film sucks so bad. And Casper returns in his role as Johnny Rico, but he's kind of barely in the film. And instead, you're supposed to like this one guy, Dix, who sentences him to death, and he shows up to save at the last minute, saves the guy that killed him. It wants to kill him. Makes no fucking sense. And they throw in religion to ruin it even more.
A lot of religion.
A lot of religion. And I think they were supposed to be trying to show how both sides, religious people and atheists, are both dickheads.
Yeah.
But it ended up just pissing off everybody and not making a message at all. It was the worst, the absolute worst. But because they didn't have stupid muzzle flashes, stupid little, it was a tiny bit better. But to me, maybe not even that, because to see Casper lends this, to see Johnny Rico, it lends a bit of credibility to this world, and for them to fuck it up so bad. The CGI in Starship Troopers 3 was even worse than the CGI in the second one, which is worse than the CGI in the recent animated film. So what is Starship Troopers 3? That would probably be a 3 out of 10. Right.
So the first one had a budget about 110 million.
Yeah.
The second one had a budget of 7 million.
7 million.
And then the third one had a budget of 11 million.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and so we move on to Starship Troopers 4. I'm catching you up real quick. Okay, Starship Troopers Invasion, which was produced in Japan, and people say that this is the best of the additional Starship Troopers movies. And frankly,
it's like the best time you've been kicked in the nuts. It's like, yeah, it was. It's like, oh, it wasn't that bad this time.
Frankly, it is, but that's only because the action, it's animated. It's got this janky sort of CGI-ness, but some of them, sometimes it can look good. And there was action. They got the muzzle flashes right. The bugs looked right, and everything. You know, there was action in it, and they were fighting a queen. They were trying to, resolve the fucking story, kill the queen, and win the war. And they kind of did that. So that's the one that I think is the best. But the characters are stiff. It's boring. It's not that great of a movie, of a film in itself. So that one probably ends up the best of them. So you're thinking, okay, and this one, Starship Troopers, Traitors of Mars, Starship Troopers 5 is a direct sequel to the previous one, Invasion. So you're like, okay, it's made in Japan again. It's bringing back some of the characters. Maybe it'll be good. Okay, we're on this upward trend. No, it's right back to they end up killing off some of the characters that survived, like Rat's Ass, who has a funny name. I don't know who anybody, Captain Douchebag and Sergeant Rat's Ass. Well, they kill off characters, and they bring Johnny Rico, and this time they bring back Dizzy to voice her character.
The actress is back.
The actress is back, reprises Dizzy, but it's as if it was like Dizzy was like, I'll voice my character, and then they were like, well, but you're dead. And then another guy was like, shut up, she's gonna voice the character. Just figure it out. And they put her in the most contrived way.
Creepy way.
Creepy, contrived way. We'll talk about exactly how it is in spoilers. But Dizzy's character is back completely pointless, made no sense whatsoever. And
so is this movie.
So is this movie. This movie was terrible, okay? We're going to start with, what's the plot line? Well, basically, the Federation has a new Sky Marshal. This real cocky, young, new female Sky Marshal. She's the smartest woman alive, but she is absolutely obsessed with approval ratings. And she thinks that the best way to get the highest approval ratings is to fucking create a controversy that she can then capitalize off of and blow up Mars. Apparently a long time ago, even with all the satellites around Earth, somehow we missed that Mars was impacted with a bug asteroid. Mars is infected secretly. They're underground 3 years ago. They come up from underground, they attack Mars, and the Mars is a colony. So they're kind of seen as rednecks of the galaxy, sort of laid-back people, fuck-ups. And so we have to deal with an invasion on Mars, which is a downgrade from the previous storyline where a queen is approaching Earth and it hits Earth and oh no, maybe some of the bugs survive, they teased at the end, and Earth is at stake. But no, we take the stakes away and we go throw it at Mars. But apparently maybe once they take over Mars, they show this graphic that Earth is going to be a threat next. Okay, fine. And that's basically how we get introduced to our cast of characters. Alex, if you will explain our cast of characters.
Imagine the people. Have you ever seen a movie where you want everyone to die immediately? And that's them. We've got Baba, who is like 8 years old. He acts like a child.
He's a grown man.
He's a lieutenant. They're in
the leader of the squad.
They're in boot camp and they can't survive any of the simulations that they're in. There's 101, Camacho, and a bunch of other forgettable people that all are super annoying in their own way, and you want them to die.
Idiots. This is the most unlikable squad I have ever seen.
The reason why I know their names is because like they were just so annoying. I just wanted them.
Every single one of them was a stereotype garbage character that you wanted immediately to die. Yes. Horrible deaths, to blow up midair. And we were rooting for this. I really wanted to like this film. But by the end, I really wanted them to die, and I kept rooting every time they do some dramatic scene. Oh, I don't even know how these people know how to use military equipment. That's how incompetent and how joke of a character is. Baba is just this moron who is lieutenant. He is a scaredy cat. He has no right to wear armor, and it gets worse because his extended family shows up in the film as a pilot, and now you have got this redneck Mars pilot. That is his cousin or something, which it just is even worse. And you just want to stay away from these people. So luckily, the film does, at some point, break away. This incompetent squad gets separated from Johnny Rico. Because how does Johnny factor in, by the way? Well, after saving Earth, essentially, he is court-martialed for even allowing the Queen to reach the Earth in the last film. And so they put him in a post over at Mars, the most boring post in the galaxy.
It's a punishment.
And he is training these fuck-ups, essentially. But of course, Mars has an outbreak, so he goes down to the surface. Oh, you want to live forever? That was one of the major problems with this film is its dialogue. It kept repeating itself. Not only in the cheesy lines that they say over and over to the point where even a fan like me yelled at the screen, "Stop it! Literally, stop it.
He was just like a toy action figure with his.
He's pushing his button. He pulled the.
That's all he fucking
That's a
did.
really
It was
good analogy,
horrible.
Joe. And he was the best character in the film. That Johnny Rico is the best character in this film. Casper Van Dien did the best job. He's like the only real soldier that when he starts to get in shit, you're like, okay, let's fight a little bit. And then everything's fucked up because then the squad comes back and we get these side stories that make no sense. So he does eventually get separated from his squad.
Thank
and
God.
that's where Dizzy comes. But the whole time I was like, oh my God, this is... The scene makes no sense. It's like we'll talk about it in spoilers, but yeah, Joe, I can't say anything else. The characters
Characters were horrible.
Horrible.
I wanted them to die.
the writing,
Writing was like written by an 8-year-old. That's all it was.
yeah, no, especially this climax. This is the most embarrassing climax I've ever seen. It is as if an 8-year-old wrote it, and then they were ad-libbing their lines as they were going on. It's like, come on, you want to live forever? There's bugs. There's too many bugs. Let's go off this ship. Go, 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 soldiers.
Let's continue the fight.
And then they cut to another scene. Go, 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 soldiers. Do you want to live forever? Everybody was on it. The soldiers do the dying.
Did we not see this?
And then it does it over and over. And I will talk about how exactly pointless this is, but it's just okay. Joe, how about the graphics, the animation quality?
It was an improvement from the last one.
Okay.
The last one looked like it was a cutscene from a video game, a PC game 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe longer.
Uh-huh.
And this one looked fine.
Looked a little bit better in terms of graphics.
Yeah.
So when the action does happen, you do get some bugs dying. You got a hand-to-hand combat with a bug for the first time. I think a warrior, Johnny versus a warrior. With one of the, you remember the combat knife? Like, why is that effective in the first film? Well, they show why the combat knife is semi-effective. But they have these constant callbacks. You remember that time in high school? Or let's talk about high school, or let's memorize high school. Stop referencing a better film that we all want to be seeing.
Yeah.
And how much you're destroying the Starship Troopers universe. And it just feels gross of Sony just wanting to make a buck. But it's not really that bad in that sense, because that was Starship Troopers 2 and 3. 4 and 5 is more, you can tell that there's talent there, you know? But it doesn't come together at all.
So you can say at least they tried, but they still didn't do a very good job.
Right,
so
right.
like there was effort, but
was
you
effort
still
and
sucked
talent.
at it.
But it didn't suck.
Talent.
Talent. There was, look, if you
Casper is talent.
if you
Right?
if you wrote this film completely differently, and the story was some completely different story, and you used all the
Yes,
elements,
I would like it.
then we would like it. You'd use all the elements, you use the universe, you use Dizzy and
Oh,
Johnny.
no.
It would be done well. Here, it's not. Trust us. So don't. This came out in a limited run in theaters. Don't go out and see it in theaters. That would be a complete waste of your money. Do not go out and buy this film. It's not worth buying at the $20-something on DVD that we spent, or rent, or the digital download for me was $15. Not worth $15. $5 rental. Even as a fan of Starship Troopers, I had to see it because I love everything Starship Troopers. I just wish somebody, like, I'm going to make this public. Like, I want to do a Starship Troopers board game. You know, I want to, delve into the universe, but not like this. It's just not being done right. And they kind of wrap up the film as if they're hinting at wanting to continue it. The ending scene is almost exactly like the ending scene from Starship Troopers 1, where, I forgot to mention that Doogie Howser, he doesn't reprise his role, but it is that character. Carl's character is in here. He looks nothing like it, which is another thing. Why does Carbon Ibanez, who is also in the film, is the pilot that shows up at the end to save them? That sounds familiar. And Carl and Dizzy shows up. Why does nobody look like their character? Only Johnny slightly resembles.
He looks like
Casper.
Timothy Oliphant. He looks exactly like Timothy Oliphant with the guy from Justified. But he's a black beard.
Timothy Oliphant. But I was saying, in my opinion, he looks like Solid Snake.
Yeah,
or
I can
Old
see that,
Snake. Something like that. But he does resemble Casper. But if you're gonna get these voice actors back, you know, and I understood, okay, well, they couldn't get Denise Richards and Doogie Howser to film.
Neil Patrick Harris, yeah.
Yes, Neil Patrick Harris to reprise their roles. But you actually got the Disney actress. Why didn't you make it look like her? You know, but no, they don't. They go with
the tattoo right though.
They got the tattoo right and the other elements. Okay, so that is basically our review. We gotta go final verdicts, and then we'll talk about just how fucking stupid the climax is to save you some money. Okay, so we'll start with Alex first. What is your rating out of 10?
This is below, for me, this was absolutely below average.
First, we have to go through the films. So
go
through all the Starship Troopers films and then give...
So, to give you a little... I loved the first Starship Troopers. It hit me at the right time of life. Like, all my friends loved it. So that movie for me is like a 9 or 10 out of 10. Mm-hmm. And it may just be because, you know, I was like the right age to love it. But I love that movie. Yeah. 2 has got to be like a 1 or 2 out of 10. Maybe a 2 out of 10. Yeah. 3, also like a 2 or 3 out of 10. Like the musical number was terrible. 4 is higher. It's maybe it's not even, I wouldn't say it's an average movie because the animation wasn't very good. The story was fine. So that's probably a 4 out of 10. Mm-hmm. And this is, I'd say it's also a 3 or 4 out of 10.
Please stop destroying the Starship Troopers universe like this. Joe?
First one, I'm going to give a 9 out of 10.
Why are we scared to give this a 10 out of 10? But that's your opinion. All right.
It's been a while.
I'm not scared. I'm giving Starship Troopers 1 a 10 out of motherfucking 10.
The second one was a fucking 2.
Yeah.
That was fucking horrible. The muzzle flashes, I can't get them out of my head.
It is now infamous for these things.
It is. 3, I'm going to stick with a 3.
The CGI was so bad.
Terrible.
Oh my god.
A 3, but the musical number's got to knock it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the musical number brought it up.
Oh yeah, it was really good.
Did you just say, Joe? Did you just simple 3? Okay, Joe, go.
Okay, so 4. That one was average to me. So I'm going to give that one a 5. Story was better than this one. Animation wasn't that great, but still had a better story. And the characters were a little bit more likable than these right here.
Oh, for sure.
So this one, I'm going to give a 4.
Okay. I thought you would reverse that. Okay, not bad. All right, so final verdicts for the Starship Troopers franchise and Traitor of Mars for me. Starship Troopers 1 is a 10 out of 10, and it's an instant classic. I love that film. I've got great memories of going to see that film. I still remember. It was either Awesome American Statesman or Awesome Chronicle. Gave it a 0 out of 5 there first. And I was like, no, that looked amazing. And I'm going anyway. I don't care what you tell me. And it turned out to be one of my favorite films of all time. And I just fucking loved it. And they even made toys based on that shit. That graphic film had toys. That's hilarious. I loved them. Anyways. And as a kid, I even made little board game versions of Starship Troopers, so I loved it. 2 was a betrayal! Betrayed me! The worst film I've ever seen. It took me like 2 days to get through because those nightmares. Yes, 1 out of 10. If I could give it a 0, I would, but it's a 1 out of 10. And then the third film, they bring back Johnny. And so I was thinking, okay, yeah, maybe it'll be good, but almost as bad as the first. Y'all are saying 3. No, it fucks it up with the musical numbers. It focuses on characters, not Johnny. And the kiss at the end, like we give a shit about these 2 new characters. They put in all this religious garbage into the fucking film. It is a 2. It's a 2 out of fucking 10. And then the fucking 4th film, I think, like Joe, I agree that it is an average film. It does its job. It's entertaining, but it's one of those you watch on Netflix, keep it on in the background. There's some great action scenes. At least they try to resolve it with the Queen. 5 out of 10, just with you, Joe. And then this film, I really wanted to like this. I think I was the only one that was excited about this here. And it turned out I am the one that hates it the most now.
Really?
Yes.
Well, you're the guy that hyped up. It's like you tell your friends, I love this song. You have to listen to it, and then we all hate it.
Right, because again, it focuses on the wrong part. Like all the soldiers here were annoying as fuck, where in the last film they weren't annoying. And the story is absolutely stupid. And we'll talk about that in the spoilers. So what did you give it?
A 4, I think.
4, 3, I don't know. It's a fucking 3. This film is a fucking 3. That's the final verdict. Guys, if you want to stick around for the spoilers, do it now. And in fact, do it because it's not.
We're just gonna trash the movie, Mark.
Let's trash.
Let's in a Walmart bin or something, and maybe.
This is you buy this at the gas station. You know those movies that have them at gas stations? Get this there.
Get this there. All right, guys. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show. Welcome to the spoiler section for this stupid ass fucking film. And it just got progressively worse. Like at the beginning, I could get into it. I was even justifying it to these guys. I was like, oh, look, it's so cool that you know, the fleet eventually jumps out of Mars orbit or goes by Mars. And you're like, oh, Johnny doesn't even know what's going on. They're going off to fight the war. I like how they're still lower level soldiers and there's this war effort going on. And then as the film goes on and it drags and there's so much nonsensical things that are happening. Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, why can't this end? So we're going to spoil the big thing is basically why the fuck does this fascist society, which I think it service guarantees citizenship. You cannot be a citizen unless you're a soldier.
You can't have kids.
The government runs everything. Military government runs everything. Why the fuck would the Sky Marshal care at all that much about approval ratings? That makes absolutely no sense. So her character is fucked from the start. She's supposedly the smartest woman on Earth. So
it's ever lived.
This is a sexist film. You're saying women are so fucking greedy and dumb and stupid that they're even worse at their job than men Sky Marshals. It's fucking awful. Our character's motivation is completely... I thought that she was going to be the traitor of Mars, that really she hated the Federation and wanted the Federation to die, so she was going to blow up Mars and then eventually, you know, let Earth succumb to asteroids, debris from Mars.
That would have made sense, though.
Because that's what would happen.
It would be okay.
But no, that's not what she wanted to do. She wanted to save the Federation by destroying a planet within our solar system. Not
space hippies, because there were space hippies there, and she didn't want the space hippies.
She didn't like them. Oh, okay, so it's the dumbest thing ever. And what I'm trying to say is that was her evil plan, right? And Johnny Rico's team is on Mars, and they're fighting, and so they have to stop this stupid evil plan. So they stop her from exploding Mars on live TV with a countdown, 10, 9, 8 to Mars blowing up. So they stop her from blowing up Mars in order to engage the atmosphere machine so that they can pump atmosphere into the Mars's atmosphere and ignite the atmosphere to blow up Mars.
They blow up the building that the super nuke is inside of.
And they blow up the building that the super nuke is inside. So they had to stop her from blowing up Mars so that they could blow up Mars. That stupid bitch! What a dumbass plan. Johnny Rico's got a better one. Let's blow up Mars. So
Why did they kidnap Carl? They never explained that at all, other than, you know, he's smart.
He was gonna be a villain, basically.
Well, they were going to have him be a scapegoat, but he was never, even in her plan, it was never mentioned whatsoever.
And there's no reason to keep the Carl character alive because he's trying to expose what that Sky Marshal is trying to do. Yeah. She captures him, puts him in a chair, and it seems as if she's going to lay the blame on him publicly, but never does.
But she doesn't.
Really. And keeps him alive for no reason. And so he gives her a bloody nose while she's giving her triumphant speech because he can get into people's minds. And she's like, I'm gonna kill him. And then later on, she
still doesn't kill him.
Looks at him and is like, hey, you. And then he breaks her nose later on and keeps fucking this girl up. It's just awful like that. The nonsense is insane. So, I mean, I don't even know how these recruits made it through basic training. I understand kind of, even Starship Troopers had their basic soldiers kind of idiotic.
They were lieutenants. Yeah. Only one of them was a private.
Yeah, they were supposed to be your soldiers on Mars. If that's what Mars had to offer, then I wanted Mars to blow up and explode in a horrible
It was
fashion.
like the cast of, you remember Prometheus, like the cast of the Prometheus? Like all of them were in this universe, and you wanted them to die because they were so stupid.
Yeah, and during the climax, the stupidest climax we were talking about, is Mars is now overrun by bugs, and there's 4 guys firing, and they managed to try to get the word out that we're still fighting on Mars, So they put it on the Federation Network.
Fedbook. They put it on. It's their version of Facebook. Seriously, it's called Fedbook. It was on there. It's like they put it on Fedbook. I was not joking. It is serious.
Oh my God! So they put it on fucking Fedbook, and then they're like, "Wait, everybody! They're still fighting on Mars. There's 4 of them left against the whole fucking army." And so it's like, let's stop everything and root for these guys, even though you're gonna watch the horrible death live. So the bugs are coming across the bridge on the atmospheric thing, and they gotta stop the bomb and then blow up the bomb. What? All right, so they're like in a triumphant way. It's like, "Hey, scientist dude, the first time we're talking to you all fucking movie long. Can you go turn on the machine?" And he's like, "Yeah, I can. I know all about this machine." He doesn't say that. He knows nothing about the machine. But he manages to run over there and like, "We gotta buy him 10 minutes. Marines do the dying and you want to live forever." And he's like, "We gotta blow the bridge." "No, not yet." And then we all were sitting here like, "What? Why?"
Why? There's this really skinny like choke point where all the bugs are funneling through, and they kill about 100 of them before the bridge blows up.
They get real close, and then it's like blow the bridge, and then he waits for them to engage the atmospheric processor, and then he's like, "Okay, now blow the bridge." But they didn't have anything to do. You could have just blown the bridge, waited there with a cigarette, and played video games while the bugs cannot reach them because you blew the bridge. And then the atmosphere gets pumped, and then we get rescued last minute by Carmen Ibanez. "Oh no, she's crazy. She's the crazy pilot." "Oh, but we're not gonna make it. She's like 5 feet away from us, and she has to open up the rear hatch, and we have to jump to her."
Just like you did earlier in the movie with no issues or hesitation. But well, I'm afraid to do it now.
Except they all have jump packs that he said that they used all movie long, like constantly using their jump packs.
Terrible.
Every single character instantly forgets how to properly use their jump pack and gets super scared, even though 5 minutes before they turn their ass around to go save Johnny Rico in the first place. They become brave. I can't anymore. So this is one of the worst climaxes I've seen, but at least it was a climax, and at least visually it looked like there was a battle going on, rather than in Starship Troopers 2 where it looked like they were playing laser tag or something. They were using props, these stupid little styrofoam guns with the flashlights. So at least it wasn't that bad. So where I think it could have earned a 4, it definitely earns a 3 for me because it was so insultingly, it just fell apart.
Can we talk about Carl and Diz?
Yes. So let's talk about the scene. They brought back Dizzy's actress. And tell us about the scene.
So Rico gets blown up, and everyone escapes but him, and he's stuck on Mars. And he wakes up and he sees Dizzy, and he thinks he asks her like 40 times, "Am I dead? Are you sure I'm not dead?" Because he sees this person that he knows is dead.
It's as if the writers or the people that made this film knew that their film was short. It would probably clocked in at like 50 minutes.
Yeah.
And they padded, and that's why there's so much repeated dialogue and questions that they ask over and over to pad out the... Anyways.
So he's talking to Diz, and she's like, "You get up, soldier, and I need you to live. I need you to go over there." And we find out in a weird way that it's actually Carl communicating to Rico, and it links back to a barely, like he mentioned, "Oh, I'm having a tough time linking to Rico." So he found a way.
Because Carl can actually go across the galaxy and talk to Carmen Ibanez because they have a bond or a form. And that's how he's able to get Carmen to be at the last minute rescue the team, because she's supposed to be fighting over at AQP or something, the alien homeworld, or maybe near Klindathu, and they're like, "We hope this isn't another Klindathu, but we're going to send our entire fleet to attack the bugs." Oh, god damn it, that's not just random or light, it's the same fucking thing, and they all die, but Carmen gets out. Anyways.
So Diz is there, and it's actually like Carl astral projecting himself as Diz, but
is that what it was?
What we find out, and once we figure that out, we realize, wait a minute, he's kind of, as Diz, kissed Johnny a bunch of times.
Yeah,
he's like constantly getting up, just constantly kissing him. It's like, dude, Carl, if you had feelings, they did a bunch of times.
There's also another weird part, though.
Yeah, well, the other part, and then they start talking about, remember that last night we were together and we totally banged?
Yeah.
Where did you learn that thing? And it's still Carl.
And she's like, "Stop it." But it's Carl the whole time.
It's still Carl.
So Carl was talking about like all the ways he was fucking Johnny.
Sick, Carl.
Sick. You're a sick person, Carl. But it's never explained. So was that vision of Dizzy just his manifestation of Dizzy, helping the ghost of Dizzy? Was she real? She wasn't real. So this is a memory that Carl put in his mind? But no, because there was one scene where as she's talking, Carl is saying the exact same thing. So it's alluding to the fact that Carl is the one that's talking to him through Diz.
What about your friends, Johnny? What about Carl? Weren't you guys best friends or something?
Yeah, I guess so. Not his fault. He's busy saving the whole Federation.
Yeah, but I guess he could try a little harder.
Let's not get our hopes up.
Oh, come on, Johnny.
We are friends, aren't we?
But yet the way they interact is like, it's not Carl, it actually is Diz. It makes no fucking sense.
Now it's your turn, Johnny.
Johnny. God, no.
So for 20 minutes, this film comes to a screeching halt so that they could throw in the Dizzy voice actress.
Carl just wanted to kiss Johnny.
Yeah,
and that's it.
So it was all the homosexual tension between these two. And by the 5th movie, you finally realize that it wasn't Carmen Ibanez. It wasn't Dizzy that
been Carl
Rico
the entire
was
time.
supposed to be with. It was Carl the whole time. Starship Troopers 5, everybody. Enjoy. So yes, this never happened. And if they make another one, I will not be watching it. Instead, I will think there is only one Starship Troopers, and I hope to, in the future, make a board game version,
Well,
like
you
a
ruined
badass
it for me
restore.
because I thought there was only one, but no, you showed me the rest of them.
Sorry, Joe.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am not sorry. If I must suffer, so shall you. So that's it, guys. Is there anything else? No, just looking here at some of the fucking angry scratches I made. It's
a cool thing is the armor and the nukes. So for the first time in the whole series.
What is the one cool thing about the movie? Go ahead.
So they actually have really cool power armor, and it's not quite mech suits, but they have power armor, and so they can jump around. And so they're constantly using like rocket jumps and mounted nuke systems. Yeah. And then one scene in the movie, Johnny actually has a shoulder-mounted smart gun, and as he's running away, the smart gun is just mowing down. And had he had this thing the entire time, the war would have been over. He could have killed the entire. All the bugs.
That comes in line with the books, where the mobile armor is much more powerful. They have mini tactical nukes, and they get that in this film. And when the nukes go off, it's fucking interesting. Even the way they explode, it's interesting. It's different. I loved it. It seemed as if these guys forgot that the tanker bug exists. The tanker bug hasn't shown up since the very first film. They keep throwing in these ridiculously stupid bugs. The scorpion bug that you only see 2 parts of it because it's just a puppeteer in Starship Troopers 2.
Three.
And then in 3, Starship Troopers 3. Starship Troopers 2 was the infestation bug. And then in Starship Troopers 3, it was the God bug and that scorpion bug. And then in Starship Troopers 4, it was the Queen. Right, the flying ones are gone as well. They never show up either. It's like they forget what the bugs they have. But in this one, they show one new bug for 3 seconds as if they were just doing it for the trailer. It's like a walker bug. You remember that? Where I was like, what is that? What is that?
Oh, that is the scorpion bug.
No way.
Because it's the stinger. Well, it's like a laser beam shooting stinger thing.
So they tied this shit.
It's down below it. Yeah. I thought I saw it, right?
3? Well, the shit circle is now fucking complete. They've tied the films
We've
together.
completed the human centipede of Starship Troopers.
Don't fucking watch any of them except for one. Go buy the special edition of one. All right, guys, that's it for us. Way too long talking about it, but it is my favorite. One of my favorite original films. It's one of those lightning in a bottle kind of thing, like Ghostbusters. Right time, right subject matter, cool fucking premise, and awesome action. Go watch the original. And we'll see you on the next Angry Joe show. Bye, guys.